Sorry about the lighting. This shadow here is being created by my camera because I had to get the camera so close to the screen that I had to, and that's just what we got to deal with. And I don't have auxiliary lighting easy nearby here. Now, this is a quick video. We're going to do a little bit of this old Tony jazz hands here. So I had a customer ask me the other day, why did my night lights go from $80? Actually, my original price was $60, but I couldn't. This was unsustainable at $60. Then I bumped them up to $80, and now they're $100. Well, why are they $100 now as opposed to being $80? Well, the simple question, or the simple answer, is the amount of labor that is going into these at this point. So what I have here is the components, or three of the four components that make up the electronics of the night lights. Okay, so I have these. Originally, I was using these night lights, or these bulbs. Okay, and it's a little hard to see, but there's a resistor in here, because I'm actually going to cut this one apart in a second. So there's a resistor in here. There's a 100 ohm resistor. This is a 2-leg bright white LED. I came to the conclusion that these lights were not good lights for this project. They're not bright enough, and they don't really, I don't like the color. Okay, so if you know anything about how an old school TV works, or actually how TV works, they work on a principle of RGB, red, blue, green. So red, blue, and green light all combined together make white. Well, believe it or not, if you take this all the way in to where it is, where they I'm thinking of the $20 word. Convene, I guess that would be the word I'm looking for. You get a white light. As a matter of fact, in the video, it does show up white. And if you pull it out further, you start to see the red, blue, and the green all together. Now, I have this white light right next to it, and you can see it's just nowhere near as bright, right? So this light is no longer going to be used. Now, we're going to only use the red, blue, greens. Now, converge. That's the word I was looking for. The $20 word is convergence. So as you pull these together, convergence brings it to red, blue, green. If you shine it into the camera, which is going to screw the camera up, it's white. Okay, so you're seeing a white light, believe it or not. So that light is white when it's red, blue, green. When it flows through the night lights break it up into different colors. It's the only way to do it. So now these require 2 resistors. Theoretically 3, but I'm cheating using 2. And then we're going to show how I do that in a second. So I'm using these imported, because they don't make this stuff in the United States anymore, the 5mm RGB LED. Okay, so it's only red, blue, and green. They do make red, blue, green, and white, but I can only find those as cobs, chip on board, and I don't want chip on board. I want this style because it fits inside of the light. Now they require different impedances. So the red requires 2 to 2.4 volts. The green and the blue require 3.3 to 3.2. So there's a significant difference in the voltage there. And I'm going to show, hopefully it'll show up on camera, what the difference is. Also, so now I have to purchase additional resistors, right? So these are 100 ohm. These are 100 ohm quarter watt resistors. And actually I have to buy some more of these, but then I need 150 watt quarter ohm resistors. You can see the label there. Kind of. Okay, so now how am I doing this? Now I'm going to take this away here. Now I understand I should probably put a new board together for this because it's a little difficult to see, but you'll live. We'll all live. It's not that difficult. Now, this resistor's already, or this LED's actually already been used, so it's a little wonky. Put something black. Oh, aha, look at that. So, what I have here is the red, blue, green resistor, or red, blue, green diode, the LED. Okay, and it has 4 leads on it. Now, the 4 leads consist of the positive lead, which is here. Okay, that's the positive lead. This is the blue and the green leads. And then this is the red lead. Okay, so when I wire these up, I have to isolate the power lead. And then I have to isolate the blue and the green. Oh, and then the red isolated itself there. And then I have to isolate the red. Okay, so that's red, that's power, that's blue and the green. Now, I wish I had something I could put down here. Make it easier to see. You know what, maybe we'll just do it right here. That works pretty good, I think. So, I'm going to sacrifice this one. I'm going to sacrifice this because I'm not going to use this one. This one has absolutely no use anymore. So this one's going to get canned. Add it to my ever-growing pile of non-used LEDs, or messed up LEDs. And that pile is getting bigger by the day, I might add. So we're going to cut that off. We're going to set that aside because I'm a hoarder. Now, I bought these at Harbor Freight. These are Pittsburgh's. And I bought them at Harbor Freight. I had a different pair that they weren't adjustable. So I set them for 14. And then I get into here with the, this is just a shielding on the cable. And I just give it a little bit of a wiggle, maybe a little spin, a little bit of a wiggle. I don't actually want to break through this. I just want to kind of crack the outside. If I break through, the chances of me damaging these little teeny tiny 20 gauge wires is really high, and I don't want to do that. Actually, I did damage that one. Shit. So that one there's got a little nick in it. We'll fix that with a little bit of CA glue. Okay, so when you're dealing with LEDs flow power in one direction. Okay, that's diode, one way. Okay, so they won't work backwards. I've tried it. And they also absolutely require a resistor, because otherwise they won't work either. They don't work properly. So I set this for 18, even though this wire is like in the 20s. So I'm going to strip the negative off, leaving as much wire as I possibly can. I'm going to switch the positive off here. I'm going to give it a little twist. I'm going to pull it out of frame for a second. Maybe I could do it in frame. It's the GoPro is literally like 2 inches away from me here. It's quite frankly difficult. So I have these relatively nice long leads. All right, now I'm going to pull this away for a second. I'm going to get that right in the middle, hopefully. Now, I understand it's difficult to see because I have so many little burns on my board here. Now, I have this block of tool steel that I've just been setting on these. Now, you can use you can use anything, but you need to kind of stabilize the wires a little. Now, I switched, I'm using a higher wattage soldering iron than I used to because I found that I was overheating the wires. Everything was getting overheated. So I'm just going to tin the wires back. So that's about as far back as that's going to travel, and you can tell, when it's doing it. I like tinning the wires. For a lot of reasons. Now you know where all those little burns came from on my board. And then I'm just going to stroke that off of there. Okay, so the wires are tinned. Now, I'm going to show, well, actually, I'm going to just do it. Let's just, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, there we go. Now, I have this little tiny heat shrink that I bought. It's like 2 millimeter, or it might actually be like 3 millimeter. I bought it from Amazon, but you can get it. I'm sure you can get it from somewhere else. It's just easier for me to order this stuff from Amazon. So now I'm going to measure out this much. Okay. So, and then I'm going to slide it on. Always put the heat shrink on first, or you screw up everything. Trust me. It's still a little long. Just a little bit. This seems tedious, and it is, and that's why the price went up. If I don't do this, I'm running into short problems, or problems with shorting. And now I'm going to grab my LED, which has run away. Grr. Where did my LED go? Found it. Okay. So now you can see this is my positive lead right here. Okay, this is the positive one. I bent that up out of the way. Now, I'm going to move this block. You're going to have to deal with my hands in the way for a split second here. Now, I'm going to get in on this pretty tight. I'm going to pull this away from the camera for a second. I'm going to trim that little booger off right there. That's asking for trouble. I'm also going to trim that off. And I'm going to slide that up. And I might give that a little squeeze. And let's see if I can squeeze it with my fingers. I want this to be kind of lined up there. There we go. All kind of linear. Okay. Now, I don't like that. I kind of want that. Just like that. Now, with the quickness here, I'm just going to go wink, just like that. So we got just a little, we're attached, but I don't want to shrink. I did it anyway. Fudger. Yeah, damn it. Okay, well, we'll fix that. All right, so the heat transfer runs up the heat shrink and screws it up sometimes. I think I got it. Yeah, there we go. I saved it. So now this power lead is completely insulated for the most part. And I'm just going to take the heat. We're just going to take the soldering iron here and we're going to throw some heat into the heat shrink, being careful not to get too close to or overheat the actual LED itself. Yeah, I know I should clean the solder off of my soldering iron. All right, so that gets us in there. So what you're seeing actually on there, if you can see it in the camera, is there's some solder hanging out on my soldering iron, but looks like we're sealed up pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to turn this on, and I want to show why you have to put a resistor in. So if you look, it's doing that again. I must have like some kind of magical power in my body where I'm actually creating a ground, because the green lights up. I'll take my finger off of it. There's nothing touching here. But as soon as I touch the green lead, it lights. If anybody knows why it's doing that, let me know. Is that stuff out of focus? Oh, I can't tell. Okay, now I'm going to do the red real quick here. We're going to ignore that green artifact. So we got the green, or the red, right? You can see kind of in the camera there how dim the red is, right? So the red's real dim. If you put the resistor in, now this is the 150 ohm resistor. Wink, 150 ohm resistor. We're just going to twist it in here. Now I'm going to do both resistor. I'm going to solder everything all at once, but I'm going to just show real quick what happens when you do it this way. Actually, I'm going to make these a little bit longer. I found that if I make the leads a little longer, it's easier to get them up into the lamps. So we're going to make this lead a little bit longer, because I can always fold the positive back or the negative back. Now you're supposed to choke the positive side, but I don't know how you're supposed to do that with these. If anybody knows how to do that, let me know. I tried putting a 100 ohm resistor on this leg and then a 50 ohm resistor on that leg, and it didn't work. Yeah, it just didn't work right. So now we have our 100 ohm resistor. Okay. 100 ohm resistor, and we're going to twist this one on. And like I said, we're going to do it down here. I want as much length on this lead as I can get. I can fold these things up pretty tight inside the lamps. Inside the lamps. Okay, so now let's take a look at the light. When I put the resistor in, it's exponentially brighter, notice? So that's with the resistor, and that's without the resistor. It's like way brighter. I mean, you can even see it on my shitty GoPro camera, okay? So now we got those two together, so we're gonna solder that connection in. Like that. Yeah, good enough. I like to put that weight on there for that. Eventually, if I start making a ton of these, I'm going to make a better jig. I do not want to buy these pre-wired. I want to do this part. It's just kind of like part of what I want to do. It's part of the process, right? And we're just going to go. Whoosh. All right. And we're going to do this side. Just like that. Now, I'm going to cut that little booger off of there. Just like that. Just like that. Then, I'm going to fold these two back in on themselves. Try to straighten this out a little bit. I'd like to get that as straight as I can, because this has to slide up inside that 12 millimeter tubing. That has to slide up inside the tubing, so I want this as straight as I possibly can get it. We're pretty insulated here, and I want to show how we insulate that in a second. Now I fold these up and give them a little twist. So we now have our LED all wired, ready to go. Now I'm just going to solder this end here. Just matter. Let's get that booger hot for a second. Perfect. Okay. Now, oh yeah, that's still hot. Okay. Cut that off right there. Fold that back down on itself like that. Now, when I install these in the part, right, when I install these in the lamp itself, I will hot glue this or put CA glue in it. But because of the angles I need to bend these at, I don't like to glue them ahead of time because it makes it'll actually break the connection. It's a little odd. It'll actually break these because the CA glue is too hard. But you know, it'll be back about that far, and then I can stick it inside the lamp. I don't have a lamp ready to do. I did in the other part of the video here. This is a long video. I can fold these things up pretty tight inside the lamps. Inside the lamps. Okay, so now let's take a look at the light. When I put the resistor in, it's exponentially brighter. Notice? So that's with the resistor, and that's without the resistor. It's like way brighter. I mean, you can even see it on my shitty GoPro camera. Okay. So now we got those two together, so we're going to solder that connection in. Like that. Yeah, good enough. I like to put that weight on there for that. Eventually, if I start making a ton of these, I'm going to make a better jig. I do not want to buy these pre-wired. I want to do this part. It's just kind of like part of what I want to do. It's part of the process, right? Just gonna go whoosh. All right. We're gonna do this side. Just like that. Now, I'm gonna cut that little booger off of there. Just like that. That. Then I'm going to fold these two back in on themselves. Try to straighten this out a little bit. I'd like to get that as straight as I can because this has to slide up inside that 12mm tubing. That has to slide up inside the tubing, so I want this as straight as I possibly can get it. We're pretty insulated here, and I'm going to show how we insulate that in a second. Now I fold these up and give them a little twist. So we now have our LED all wired, ready to go. Now I'm just going to solder this end here. Doesn't matter. Let's get that booger hot for a second. Perfect. Okay. Now, oh yeah, that's still hot. Okay. Cut that off right there. Fold that back down on itself like that. Now, when I install these in the part, right, when I install these in the lamp itself, I will hot glue this or put CA glue in it. But because of the angles I need to bend these at, I don't like to glue them ahead of time because it makes it'll actually break the connection. It's a little odd. It'll actually break these because the CA glue is too hard. But it'll be back about that far, and then I can stick it inside the lamp. I don't have a lamp ready to do. I did in the other part of the video here. There you go. That's why they cost more money, because I have to put those extra resistors in. And the other thing is each one of these has to be wired individually for each individual light. So every one of these has to be custom fit and custom built. I can't sit here and make 50 of these things all at one time and expect them all to fit inside the bulbs, inside the lamps. It just doesn't work that way.